In 2012, Britain didn't just win cycling, they dominated it. 8 out of 10 Olympic gold medals, not close wins, not lucky breaks, domination. But just a few years earlier, they were invisible. For nearly a century, Britain was a nobody in cycling. No Tour de France winners, almost no Olympic success. So how did they go from irrelevant to untouchable in little over a decade? For most of the 20th century, Britain wasn't just behind, they were forgotten. France had history, Italy had culture, Belgium had the obsession. Cycling wasn't just a sport there, it was identity. Britain had none of that. No real system, no pipeline, no infrastructure. At one point, British riders were training outdoors, in the rain, on outdated tracks. While in France, riders trained in pristine velodromes with perfect conditions year-round. And the results showed. Between 1920 and the late 1990s, Britain won almost nothing. At one point, they were so irrelevant that top bike manufacturers refused to even sell them equipment because using British riders would hurt their brand. That's how far behind they were. Then something changed. In the mid-1990s, Britain got funding from the National Lottery, and for the first time, they had resources. They built a world-class velodrome in Manchester. They invested in the top-of-the-line coaching. They created structure, and almost immediately, things improved. They started winning medals. Not domination, but something new. They were finally competitive. New problem. But that created a new problem. Because now they weren't bad anymore, but they weren't the best either. They were stuck in the middle. They had the track, they had the funding, they even had talent like Bradley Wiggins. They copied everything that the best countries did. So why weren't they winning everything? Well, because at the highest level, everyone has the fundamentals. This is where everything changes. Enter Dave Brailsford. And instead of chasing big breakthroughs, he focused on something completely different. You don't win by doing one thing better, you win by doing everything slightly better. He called it the aggregation of marginal gains. And this is where Britain began to separate. They didn't just improve training, they improved everything. Bike seats redesigned to reduce friction, fabrics tested in wind tunnels, tires optimized for specific track conditions, the team truck painted white, strict hand-washing protocols to prevent even minor illness. And one of the strangest? They brought their own pillows to every hotel to guarantee perfect sleep. And if you're thinking, that can't be the difference, you're right. Not by itself, but that wasn't the point. It wasn't one change, it was all of them, stacked together, hundreds of small improvements, each one almost meaningless, but combined, they created a system that almost no one could match. So what happened? 8 out of 10 gold medals at the Olympics twice, 178 world championships in a decade, 5 back-to-back Tour de France wins. They suddenly couldn't stop. Not just winning, dominating. A system that produced results over and over again. So what did Britain actually do? They followed a sequence. First, they fixed the obvious weaknesses. Infrastructure, funding, coaching. That made them competitive. Then, they optimized everything else. Hundreds of small improvements stacked together until the gap became impossible to close. That's how they took over cycling. And maybe that's the real lesson. Most people look for one big breakthrough, but in reality, dominance is usually built differently, quietly, one small improvement at a time, until suddenly, it doesn't look small anymore. Until next time, thanks for watching.